Welcome to Podcast Vision. I'm Sunny.
And I'm Sam. Today's episode is all about deep diving into NVIDIA's 2026 investment empire. How the shovel seller became the mine owner.
It is wild to think about because when you hear that company name, you probably still picture graphics cards for video games. But looking through the sources for this deep dive, they have completely morphed into the super landlord of the AI universe.
Yeah, super landlord is exactly the right term.
Right. Let me just throw some numbers at you. We were looking at a 2026 portfolio of over 250 companies. Just last year alone, they participated in more than 80 funding rounds.
It is massive. And the real spark for today's deep dive is that crazy news from February. I mean, a $30 billion investment into OpenAI, and that is on top of holding over $18 billion in public market stocks.
Which is just mind-blowing. Is this just throwing cash at the biggest players because, they have it? Or are we watching the construction of an inescapable money trap?
Well, it is definitely a highly calculated master plan. It starts with layer one, the infrastructure. They fund their own biggest customers, like CoreWeave, for example. CoreWeave rents out massive amounts of computing power.
Right, they are a specialized cloud provider.
Exactly. So they invest massive capital into companies like CoreWeave. And what does CoreWeave do with that funding? They turn right around and use it to buy more GPUs from their own investor. It is a perfect capital loop.
But wait. If I'm a specialized cloud provider getting that cash, what is stopping me from just buying cheaper chips from AMD or Intel? Why am I locked in?
That comes down to the software foundation, specifically CUDA. CUDA is not just a basic program. It is the fundamental programming language developers use to talk directly to the processing cores.
So it is like the operating system for AI.
Yeah, basically. I mean, they spent the last 20 years making CUDA the absolute industry standard. Billions of lines of AI code only speak that specific language. To switch to a competitor, you would have to completely rip up the tracks and rewrite your entire software foundation.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the hardware is locked in by the software language. But hardware is useless without the actual AI models to run on it. Right?
Exactly, which brings us to layer two, the core algorithms. That explains the staggering $30 billion OpenAI investment, plus their heavy stakes in Anthropic and Mistral AI.
But they are funding fierce competitors simultaneously. That seems counterintuitive.
Well, it actually does not matter to them which AI model wins the race. Every single one of those models is forced to run on their compute. And they are doing the exact same thing at the grassroots level with their Inception program.
Right, the Inception program. That acts as a massive funnel for early-stage startups.
Yeah, young companies get crucial early funding and access to resources. But the catch is they are building their entire product on that specific architecture from day one.
Which creates a chilling reality for anyone left out. The sources actually refer to these companies as AI orphans.
AI orphans, yes. It is a brutal term.
It really is. If you are a startup right now and you fail to secure this specific backing, you get pushed straight to the back of the line for crucial chips.
You just do not get the hardware you need to survive. But the strategy goes even deeper than GPUs and models. This brings us to layer three, the vertical apps and security.
The physical pathways, right?
Yes. Coming from over 10 years in embedded software and the security industry, this is the most fascinating part to me. When you have thousands of GPUs processing data, they have to talk to each other incredibly fast.
So they need highly specialized networking.
Exactly. They are aggressively investing in network chips and security protocols. For instance, they increased their stake in Marvell, which builds high-speed networking chips, and they are partnering with Nokia for 6G networks.
Wait, so they are not just selling the processor, they are embedding themselves into the actual hardware wiring and data transmission links.
Right. Every single AI data transmission link ends up with their brand carved into it.
But does not that turn into an ecological hunt? I mean, with their money, their chips, and that deep hardware and software coupling, they're completely strangling competitors like Intel.
They are. And think about what happens when every single vertical application you rely on, from AI-driven robotics to automated healthcare diagnostics, is running through one company's choke point.
That sounds incredibly risky.
It is. While this monopoly rapidly accelerates AGI development, it introduces massive systemic security risks. In network security, supply chain diversity is resilience.
So relying entirely on a single source supply chain is a huge vulnerability.
Exactly. When everything from the physical data link layer to the core algorithms relies on a single corporate entity, the collateral damage of any fundamental flaw is catastrophic. If one piece fails, the entire global AI grid could go dark.
It is a totally new frontier where the old rules of competition just do not apply anymore. Which leaves you with a final question to ponder. If the company selling the picks and shovels now completely owns the mines, the infrastructure, and the transport trains, what happens to the independent prospectors of tomorrow?
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. See you next time.